All right, what's up, everybody? Christopher Leon Johnson here. So, heading to 63 Tiffany. So, here, show my support in my personal capacity. Came from the Nitro Rally. The Nitro Rally supported Nitro for hours. So, I'm here for this one. So,
And I really want to thank and just say how incredible these elected officials are that champion the people. It's easy to take that real estate money and go to the nice, parties and all of that, but they, they're against them. And it's hard to be against them. It's not easy. The New York Post just had a hit piece on Rosenthal just this last week, criticizing and this and that and all of that. It's like they have a whole PR teams and everything attacking these people. So we have to really protect them because they're protecting us. And it's easy to just not even do that. And with that being said, we have one of our great protectors here, Mr. Brad Vander. City controller, and he started this whole movement with us, really. And I thank him so much. And I have big plans for him, but I don't.
That's not today's press conference.
No, but I have.
Thank you. It's a good day for good cause eviction protection. Let's try that as a chant. Let's see if we can do it. I'm going to say a good day, and you're going to say for good cause. All right? A good day. For good cause. A good day. For good cause. A good day. For good cause. It really is. I'm really honored to be back with my friends at 63 Tiffany Place. Yes. And with a lot of others as well. First, I want to say, just to give a big shout out to our bill sponsor, to Senator Julia Salazar. If you haven't seen it, there's a graphic novel about her fight for good cause eviction protections, and I want to see volume 2 where we win the good cause eviction protections. That's not the main reason that we're out here, but a lot of others, my Assembly members Simon and our City Council member Shahana Hanif, who have been fighting for the residents of this building and for the rights of tenants throughout the district, the city, and the state. It is especially great to be here with the residents of 63 Tiffany Place, who have been fighting for a long time to save their homes and have now grown that fight into making sure that we're saving other people's homes as well. And I think this is really important. I guess I want to sort of say this especially to folks in the media and folks who are listening, because I think sometimes these fights can become about the words or the politics, and sort of good cause has become a thing the tenant movement is fighting for. But then it's really important just to think about who the real people are that need these protections. And it just doesn't get realer than this building. Here you have this 70-unit building created when it was converted from a factory to housing to be affordable housing for low-income and working-class tenants, 70 units. And it got a lot of subsidy to do that. The owner got low-income housing tax credits, millions of dollars. The owner got J51 tax benefits, millions of public dollars, to make it possible for this building to be a resource of affordable housing for this neighborhood. It's a beautiful building. It makes it possible in a neighborhood that has lost so many affordable units to still have some working class families, teachers and nurses and folks who are doing the work that our communities need, who have been able to live here. And the building is doing great. It cash flows just fine. The owner does not need to throw out half of the tenants and bring in people who make 5 times as much money. The only reason would be to make a very wealthy person even wealthier. Like when we say what are the not good causes, like that's what we're talking about here. The law as it exists is a giant loophole that for no good reason other than the wealth of an extremely wealthy person will allow tenants in this building to be thrown out of their longtime homes and evicted from their neighborhood, not because more money is needed to make the building work, not because they aren't paying their rent, they are, solely to juice the profits for a very wealthy owner. That's it. That's what our law allows, and that's all we're trying to change here. But of course, it's not just the residents of this building. On the other side of this council district, there's some tenants in buildings whose homes were bought by Greenbrook Partners, an owner, a private equity-backed owner, that saw an opportunity and said, you know what, there's all these unregulated units where people are already paying $3,000 or $4,000 a month for units. You got middle-class folks, maybe 3 roommates paying $1,000 or $1,500 each. But you know what? If we throw them out, we could get people that would pay $6,000 or $7,000. That doesn't create one unit of housing, doesn't do one socially useful thing. It kicks people out of their homes solely for the profit, in that case, of a big private equity fund, or in this case of an individual owner. That is not a good cause, not only to throw people out of their homes, that's not a good cause for New York City or New York State. It just is not. And there are so we got about 1 million rent stabilized housing units in New York City, but about 1 million rental units that are not stabilized, and in which people are subject to the kinds of evictions that would happen here, that are happening at Greenbrook, that are happening across the city and across the state. And there's just no reason to keep that happening. If you want to see the data, I'm thrilled that CSS has this great report out today. Thank you, Sam and Community Service Society, for really understanding the situation. But so you got the moral reasons, you've got the human reasons, and you've got the economic reasons. The case is laid out pretty clear. Now, I'll be clear, I am someone who also believes we need a lot more housing in New York. I like that this building was converted, in 1995 when it stopped being useful as a warehouse to become housing. And the low-income housing tax credit made it possible for it to become housing for working class people. I'm excited about a lot of the new units that are going up nearby around Gowanus, many of which will house working class and low-income families, but a lot of them will be very expensive, but there's still new units that are making it possible for more people to live in this community. But let's be clear, you can't just push for more units when you're not providing the protections that let people stay in their communities. So GoodCause is not only good by itself, it gives people the confidence that they can keep living in their neighborhoods, that makes it possible to build support for new housing development. And that's the deal that I want to see in Albany. It starts with good cause eviction protections to prevent people from getting kicked out of their homes. It includes building more housing at a range of income levels with emphasis on affordability. It should include housing vouchers to help homeless New Yorkers who are on the street or in shelters get out of those shelters or off the street and into homes. And it should include more things like, I saw that nice bag, Julia, the East New York Community Land Trust, various forms of supportive housing, of affordable housing, of limited equity co-ops, of social housing that create more opportunities for permanently affordable housing where New Yorkers can thrive. We can get that deal done right now, and it starts by passing good cause eviction protection. It's a good day. A good day. Let's get it done.
Okay, and to add to the human aspect of the story, right? When we first moved in here, I was 22 years old. That was 30 years ago. The program was only supposed to last for 15 years. So when they create these live tech programs or whatever, I don't even understand what the reasoning is. Like 15 years will come, and then what? You just kick them out? Like it doesn't even make sense. Like GoodCause would kind of correct that. So like for people like me and Alex back here and everything who are living under these, he's living in a building that has a Canadian owner and he's under a live tech agreement, and there's a doomsday, and eventually that'll run out, and then God knows what's going to happen to him. GoodCause would save him too. It'll save thousands of New Yorkers. When we first moved onto this block, this was a desolate area. You saw how hard it was to get out here. Nobody wanted to live here really. Right? We were cut off by the BQE, and this was dark out here, and it was like that building didn't exist, that building didn't exist, the one on the corner did, and there was a few here that they've rehabbed that since. Right? And we created a neighborhood here. We created a community here. We got here 30 years because, this is where we can fit in, and we, and now to have us have to leave now so wealthier people can move in, it's just not right. It's an injustice. There's a lot of people here. I was one of the youngest to sign a lease at 22, but there's people here that moved in their 30s, 40s, and 50s are now 60, 70, and 80. I have a Korean couple. I have a couple. He's 92 years old. Well, both of them are 92 years old. He's a Korea War vet. All right, just for reference, because I had to look it up. Korea War was in 1950. All right? So he was fighting a war for us in 1950, and now you're going to put him on the street? Like, what are we doing? Like, let's think about that. Like, this law would just correct so many injustices, and it's really important that we need it. And speaking about injustice, that's a good segue to our next speaker, the Hannah Hanif, who's been incredible. She's just so fierce. Every time I see a good, righteous cause, she's right there. And I'm so proud to have her as our council member.
Thank you so much, John. Pass good cause! 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 All right, we're fired up. I'm so excited to see and welcome the Housing Justice for All Coalition in my district. And I want to welcome Senator Julia Salazar to my district. And I want to just start off by saying, when we talk about the 39th district, we don't talk about what's happening in buildings like 63 Tiffany Place. Corridors like the Columbia Street waterfront and affordable buildings, one of the last remaining affordable buildings like the 63 Tiffany Place residents, do not get talked about. And so I really appreciate that this kickoff is happening right here in this corridor, and that our movement to pass good cause is growing. And I see some dogs for the movement here too, and that makes me happy. But I'm sad because here we go again. The state legislature failed to pass good cause last year. And it hurts. It hurts people like John. It hurts people like Joy. Good cause is not a theoretical, academic framework. Good cause is about the security and safety of everyday New Yorkers. Good cause is about a dignified New York City and a dignified New York State, from the Columbia Street waterfront district to Syracuse. And I'm grateful to champions like Senator Salazar, Assemblymember Simon, our Comptroller Lander, all across council, to our state, to our federal partners as well, for saying we need to pass good cause eviction now. We cannot afford to lose one more year. We cannot afford to lose again. I started working with Joy and John and the residents of 63 Tiffany Place when I was a staffer at former Councilmember Brad Lander's office. I began my career as a tenant organizer, fighting to keep public housing residents in their homes, fighting to keep survivors of gender and domestic violence in their communities. I just passed legislation, the free lock change program, to keep survivors in their homes. And I've grown a couple years older with these guys. It hurts to see the precarity that my constituents have to live through, the looming anxiety every single day for years on end, that a tax program will end and will mean that they have to vacate their building. It doesn't make sense. New Yorkers should not live like that. It doesn't make sense.
That's right.
So I am here to affirm our city's commitment to say that housing will always be a human right, that we will pass good cause eviction, that from downstate to upstate, we will build this movement so big that the governor cannot ignore us. So get ready, y'all. We are gonna win. We are gonna win. Thank you all so much for joining. Keep your fire going and lit. Join an organization. Join Residents and to the press, please keep this going. We need to pass good cause eviction for the safety and livelihood of our city. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much. And that's right, we're not going to stop until it could be this administration, the next one, it doesn't matter, but we're going to get this passed. But the sooner we pass it, the sooner we'll start solving the problems. Now, I want to read a quote that she couldn't be here, Assembly Member Marcela Matania, right? But she sent us a quote, so I would like to read that. I want to commend the tenants and advocates of 63 Tiffany for their efforts to exercise their right to stay. I have stood where you are now. I understand the fear and anxiety that comes with knowing your landlord is trying to actively evict you. I was evicted from my rent-stabilized apartment of 30 years. This was after countless efforts by the landlord to displace tenants. Tenants need protections. As elected officials, our responsibility to advocate for our communities. Across New York State, tenants have been calling for good cause eviction. It is time the state legislature listen to them and pass good cause. What do we want?
Good cause.
When?
Now.
What do we want?
Good cause.
When?
Now.
All right, and Senator Gennardis has always been here with us too, and he's always been, one of our champions. And when I say that they're our champions, they don't just show up for these events like this. Like, we have bi-monthly meetings where they're actively, really trying to work out with HPD, the DHCR. They're really working their magic, and it just shows how difficult the problem is. Because even with all we have a lot of star power here, and it's still, look what we're going through. So other buildings that don't even have such responsive, because we're lucky that we live in an area with such great elected officials. I work with other tenants associations, and they don't. Like, they could barely get their council member out to their events. So we're really lucky in this area. But we're lucky because we have great neighbors like James here. We have great neighbors that vote for these wonderful people, progressive people trying to make change, trying to do things better, right? And so another person that couldn't come, like I said, was Senator Andrew Gennardis, but we have the next best thing. This guy is, remember his name, Carlos Calzadilla. That's like, did I get that right?
Yeah, I got it right.
And he's going to run for something, and he's going to be something big here.
Right now, let's all chant together. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Housing is a human right. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Housing is a human right. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Housing is a human right. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Housing is a human right. All right, I might be cold, but I am so fired up because it is such a pleasure to be here with an incredible coalition of advocates, housing justice for all. Let's give them a shout out. We got the Fifth Avenue Committee here. We got the tenant leaders of 63 Tiffany Place, John and Joy, and all these tenants that are honestly inspiring and have gotten us out here. So let's give it up for them. And, on behalf of Senator, I just want to thank all of them, and also our colleagues in government, Councilmember Hanif, Assemblymember Joanne Simon, Comptroller Brad Lander, and the bill lead sponsor that for years has been fighting for, Julia Salazar. We stand here in a moment where we're in budget season, we're in session, and the budget and the laws are really a reflection of the morality of our society. It's a moral document, and it is immoral that we have seniors who are being displaced. They're on a fixed income because a greedy landlord wanted to make a few more $1 million when they're already a billionaire. Or parents who don't know where they're going to take their kids because the rent has been increased 300%. I've had so many of those gut-wrenching conversations, and that is just not what we're supposed to be doing if we're trying to build a better society for all. And that is why, good cause eviction is such basic protection. I mean, it says that if you pay your rent and you're a good tenant, that you shouldn't be displaced because of the greed of a landlord. It's just basic common sense. Good cause is good common sense. Now, I want to also, acknowledge the moment we're in. Last summer, we were out here in front of this very building with the tenants of 63 Tiffany Place and the coalition of electeds, because the greedy landlord was trying to evict, and he's still trying to do that, but we organized an incredible coalition of these exceptionally courageous tenants with all of the offices, and now the tables are turned. Now we're fighting back, but that shouldn't have to take so much work, because it should be basic protections. No one should lose their home. If we're gonna tackle this affordability crisis, we can't create more houseless individuals. Our mental health crisis, we can't put people on the street. That impacts the entire psyche of a person if they can't have the most basic thing, which is their home. And also, this is not just an economic justice issue. This is a racial justice issue. Here, 63 Tiffany Place, it's a building of majority black and brown and low-income individuals in a very affluent neighborhood. Are we really going to displace more people of color? Are we really going to do that? Now, there's a saying out there that there's two kinds of people, the people who live in New York and who want to live in New York. Well, there's a third one. People who live in New York, want to live in New York, but are being priced out. And who built New York, and that has to end. If you live in New York, you want to live in New York, you should be able to stay in New York. So we're going to pass good cause eviction. We're going to protect tenants because it is not just the moral thing to do, it is also just basic common sense. Pass good cause now. Let's check it. Pass good cause now. Pass good cause now. Pass good cause now.
Thank you, Carlos. All right, now to add to that, yeah, like we said, this good cause is the start. We realize that we need to build. Let's be careful when we build, though. Let's not lead to this situation again. Let's not have these doomsday. Don't give an apartment that the affordability is going to run out in 15 years to a 22-year-old. Leave that for senior citizens then. Move in people over 65. Let them age in place, you know, in there, whatever. But don't give it to a 22-year-old and then say, well, now you got to go. After you've built, you know, a community and you have, you know, ties to the community and you're part of it. So, you know, it's just wrong. So when they say let's do 421A to build or whatever, let's stop with the doomsday. Or maybe if we got good cause, you don't have to stop it because good cause would solve that.
That's right. Yeah.
So right, so that's something there. So I want to thank everybody for coming out here today. Of course, the elected officials, and we met them now, but that's the people behind the scenes, and those are the ones that really get these gears running. We have Nicole here from Brad Lange's office. She's amazing. You see her in order. We have Allison. Allison is amazing from Joanne Simon's office, and Mia Perez, don't hide over there. Mia Perez is out of Mia's office, and all the rest of that get the things moving, the grinding, so we can make these things happen. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for coming out.
Good cause.
Good cause.
Good cause. Good cause. Good cause. Good cause. Good cause. Good cause. Good cause now. Good cause now. Good cause now. Good cause. Good cause. Good cause now.